The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is John Silver, lead recruiter of the Dark Order, and you are listening to All Things Elite.
Everybody, welcome to the 195th episode of Social Suplex's podcast about AEW with the proclivity for positivity. Welcome to All Things Elite. My name is Austin Sumwitz. I am the host of this lovely show, and joining with me, as always, is my good buddy and friend, Floyd Johnson Jr. My man, how are you doing?
Dude, they say it's my birthday. Happy birthday to me. Well, today is not my birthday. When you listen to this show, it will be the day before my birthday, which is June 9th. But I am now off of work for my birthday weekend, so I'm doing fantastic. I'm talking about, the gifts have been great. And this is I'm telling you something. I didn't think about this until yesterday. And this made me come when I was talking to my good friend Jackie. She inspired this, and I was like, dude, so I am often, you've heard me go off on this rant before. If you're friends with me and you've talked to me more than 10 minutes, you've heard me go off on a rant, because often I get to go to a lot of wrestling things, and I am fortunate enough to be able to do that. But a lot of people be like, man, you're so lucky that you get to go. And it's almost offensive, because if you don't know, when I'm not here talking on the show and I'm not at shows, Austin will tell you I'm working.
Yes. I
work 70, 80 hours a week so I can go to the shows that I go to. So when you say you're lucky, it's my oversensitive nature or whatever in certain cases that I always feel like you're saying, oh, somehow this kind of fell into your lap. And I'm like, no, I do this shit on purpose. I work hard. So no luck. But then, what was it? I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. I actually don't remember when I got the gifts, because my days kind of blend in together working overnights. I got my gift from Jackie, and she hadn't told me what it was. She said it was going to be a surprise. And so last year, I talk about last year being the best birthday I ever had, and I doubt anything ever touches it. My wife accepts it and respects it. I'm just like on a just a level, and like just me saying it. Last year, I got to watch my favorite tag team wrestle, and drink with them and talk with them on my birthday. And two, if you know me, my favorite wrestler of all time is Arn Anderson, and I got to see him on my birthday. So when you talk about my favorite wrestlers of all time, I probably got to see 3 of my all-time favorite wrestlers, like top 5 all-time, to ever do it, to ever lace it up on the same day on my birthday. That had never happened before, and I actually got to talk to him, hang out with him a little while, and I've got a bunch of pictures to signify, a bunch of pictures to, commemorate the day, and then I have the bottle that everybody has seen me post as far as, well, Jackie, my picture on the back of my phone is the picture I took with Jackie and FTR. It's me, Dax, and Dax is holding the tequila bottle, and it has his hug on it in a loving embrace. Well, Jackie had that picture immortalized into a cartoon. I think it's called, like, the artist called Chibi. Chibi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it Chibi. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. If I'm not, I am so sorry. From the amazing D_Topla on Twitter. She's the one that did my FTR and Bret Hart picture. Well, she did a picture of it. It's me, Dax, Cash, and Jackie. And this gift was amazing. It's like, I love when people put actual thought into gifts, because I do. When I want something, I buy it for myself. Well, they definitely, she definitely put thought into this gift, and it was amazing. I was taken aback. I was breathtaking. I posted it everywhere because how much I love the gift. And I had this thought inspired by Jackie. Like, you know what? I'm okay with people calling me lucky now. And it has nothing to do with the work or the shows that I go to. And Austin, you, Sydney, your family is included in this when I say this. I am very lucky to have the friends and family that I have. Because you don't work for that. I don't, put in any effort. I just go to shows and I talk to people and all that stuff. And the people that have chosen to be around me, chosen to spend their lives with me, choose to talk to me and spend an hour or two with me every week. Social Suplex Podcast Network, who took me in, not knowing me. I met Jeremy and I met Jeremy and young boy Josh at All In. I literally met them that day, and them and Rich and James and all of them have taken me in like family, and all my wrestling groups have taken me in like family, and y'all treat me like family, and it's like, yeah, I'm very lucky to have the people that I have in my life. I am fortunate. I've done no work for it. It's just kind of happened. And in that case, I will take luck all day, because the people I have around me are like the best people on earth. And I have no easy way to say that. I have been fortunate on a whole lot of levels for a long time. When you're a wrestling fan or whatever, I am very outgoing. I talk to everybody. But as a wrestling fan, when you're a wrestling fan, you're kind of in this niche world, and you don't necessarily always fit in. But I am not more comfortable than I am when I'm around the people that I've met through wrestling and at shows and at events. And a lot of people started off as just wrestling fans, but have become family that I can feel like I could go through and talk to about anything. So I thank you all on my birthday. As I'm getting a lot of gifts, but y'all are all of you, the presence in my life is a gift. And I thank you all. That anybody that hears this, and you know me, I'm thanking you. And if I didn't say your name, I apologize. I'm it's a kind of emotional moment, so maybe I forgot a name, but you're all included.
Yeah, man, we appreciate the hell out of you. I'm excited to hear how your birthday goes, man. And yeah, bro, like the people that I've met in wrestling, like that are friends, like, nah, man, like it extends that. It's so much more of a family thing. Like when me, when Sydney, when Jared, when all of our guys, like JR, everybody gets together, dude. It's like catching up with family, dude. That's what it is. So I'm right there with you, man.
Yeah.
I'm super happy for you. Just to give an idea, though, because I wanted to tell this actually on the podcast, getting a little off topic, because we joke about that. Like I said, you're a very lucky person. You're having an amazing time getting ready for your birthday. I, on the other hand, had quite the interesting Wednesday night, as I had to watch Dynamite actually the day after it aired, because we ended up getting free tickets to go see Paramore at Little Caesars Arena in Detroit. One of Cindy's coworkers had free tickets. She won on the radio, but she couldn't go, so we got free tickets. Start to the day. Only problem is, when we were about 10 minutes from getting off the expressway to get into downtown Detroit, I, somewhere along the line, just got on my back, on my driver rear side tire, a chunk of metal in my tire, and I just can see my PSI on my dashboard saying like 20 PSI, 19 PSI, 18 psi. It just like the slow count, like a quick countdown, basically of like you're running out of air on your tire, and I'm like, well, fucking amazing. So we were able to get off the expressway safely and get into our parking garage where we're at for the show. I have to call our insurance to try to get it set up, and I'm like, is there any way we can get this scheduled after the concert? Because we have a show that we're going to. And they're like, oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm inside LCA, and they're calling me like, hey, we're about like 15 minutes away. I'm like, I said we were going to schedule this after the concert. And he's like, okay, well, then you're going to have to cancel this, and then we'll have to do it again when you get out of the show. We get out of the show. First of all, Paramore was amazing. Miss Hayley Williams is a legend. Love Paramore. They did outstanding work. We get out of the show, and I call, and the closest amount of time that they can give us for someone to come and help me change a tire, because I had a spare, but I'm a dumb, stupid idiot. I don't know how to change a tire. I'm sorry. I am very much sheltered. But I didn't know how to change a tire, and the quickest they could get somebody to come out to change a tire was about an hour. And then the person that they called that were going to come and change our tire canceled, and then we were basically just stuck for a little while. Eventually, someone comes out, changes our tire. We're able to get back at like 1:30 in the morning or so relatively late. So I had to watch Dynamite the next day, though. But yeah, it was an interesting time frame because the show was amazing, but losing my tire like that just like sucked. Detroit roads, dude, the absolute worst. You will not find worse roads in this country than in Detroit, Michigan. They suck so much.
Yes. I have, as a person that has drawn many and bought many cash cars in my life, and many partially used wood tires, I have definitely dealt with tires, and I pretty much had to know how to change a tire because I didn't always have AAA. But I remember as soon as I got a good job and started making good money, the first thing I got was AAA. And then I think I get it with my insurance anyway, but I still definitely have it. But I do know how to change a tire because honestly, mine came from impatience. I don't like waiting, so I learned how to do it.
I'm probably gonna teach myself as soon as humanly possible because, like I said, I don't want that to happen again.
Yes, because like what I found out is even if you have all that, you still have to wait for them to get ready.
Exactly.
And honestly, the average person can change a tire, with the correct jack and equipment. You can change it in about 15 minutes. And, and that's saying average person. I know there's mechanics and super fast people out there like, I can do it in 5. Cool, great. It takes me about 10, 15 minutes, but I get it done, and that's all that matters. And then I'm back on the road. So, yeah, that does suck. But you got to see Hayley.
I got to see Hayley, Miss Williams, if you're nasty.
My friend Steve is huge. Again, met through wrestling. Actually, I can give a shout out to Steve. I met Steve and my friend Gleanne, who I'm actually going to see this weekend when I'm at Dallas Fan Expo. I met them 7 years ago. Like, I think it was 2 days ago, June 6th. It was 7 years ago. So I met them through wrestling, standing in line to meet Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch at a Cricket Wireless. That's where I met my friends. And it was funny. We became friends that year. And the next year, starting in January, for the first time in my life, we went to all 4 of the big pay-per-views, and we went to them all together. We actually have a shirt with all 4 of those pay-per-views saying we did the big 4 in 2017. So like I met them in June, and by January we were like traveling together. So it's kind of crazy. And my most epic wrestling trip, the one my story of legend. The 4th one was SummerSlam. It was in New York. It was in Brooklyn, and plane tickets were stupid expensive. So I realized to rent a car and the gas was less than it cost for one ticket, but you're going to have to put in the time. So I drove from Oklahoma City, picked up a friend in Dallas, and then went to Houston and picked up Stephen Glee, and then we drove to Brooklyn, and then we did it backwards. So for me, it was 24 hours from Houston. So I was on the road 32 hours each way to go to SummerSlam and NXT Takeover. I believe that's the one where the Undisputed Era debuted. We were
the Brooklyn 3?
Yeah, Brooklyn 3. We were at that show.
And we were too.
Yeah, so we went to that show in New York. So, see? And it's so funny when it comes to wrestling. That's what I found out. Me and JR, frequent collaborator JR, we RIP to Mr. Iron Sheik, who passed away yesterday. We both pushed our pictures of the Iron Sheik up, and it was from the same show. And by that time, that's when I met and hung out. Well, I had met Sydney before, but that's when I really hung out with you for the first time, and we met Shawn Michaels together at that show. So it's like, you know what's so funny? My memory sucks in general, but I can generally tell you when I met everyone I've met.
Right.
And it's so weird. Like, you asked me what I had for lunch yesterday. No clue. But I can tell you, like, oh, yeah, me, Austin, Sydney stood in line to meet Shawn Michaels and blah, blah, blah. I can tell you that kind of stuff. But, yeah, it's just weird how it all wraps up together kind of thing. And I also met my wife.
Sure.
I met my wife the same year I met Stephen Glee.
That's pretty awesome, honestly.
Yeah, so
it works out.
Yeah.
But we got a lot to get into. Obviously, we did not have a show last week. Floyd was not feeling too well.
I wasn't.
Yeah, but it's all good. So we are able to do a show right now. We had a lot to talk about, and some of you who follow me on Twitter know exactly what this show is going to be like. So get your popcorn, get yourself ready, because y'all ain't prepared. We're going to get into it all. But first, make sure you guys are downloading this fine show on Google or Apple Podcasts. If you listen to us on Spotify, wherever you choose to listen to us, give us a share with your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you wish. Make sure you follow us and subscribe so you don't miss a single episode, and leave a rating and a review. Easy way for you guys to follow us as well is checking us out on Twitter at ATElitePod, at Social Suplex. Those guys make this show possible, so check out all the other shows that they have on their network as well. I am at Austin Sumowitz, SZUMOWICZ. Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. Now, the news of the week. Carry over from what our news of the week would have been last week if we had a show. Last week, Tony Khan made it official. He wanted to make another announcement about the debut of Collision on Saturday nights at the United Center is where the first episode takes place. And he said it will feature CM Punk. We'll talk about the crowd a little bit later. But that was the big news. It was officially confirmed. CM Punk on Collision. They started naming a bunch of other Collision shows that he was going to be at. But last night on Dynamite, on Wednesday night this week, we got the word of what the first ever AEW Collision main event was going to be. And there were some reports of what it could be. And it got my fandom brain going crazy. The first main event for AEW Collision at the United Center will be a trios match. Bullet Club Gold, Jay White and Juice Robinson, and Samoa Joe face off against CMFTR. You just won in me and Floyd's book. That's all you needed to do. CMFTR. First moment that CM Punk gets back in AEW and CMFTR. We finally get a legitimate match with this team, because unfortunately the only match we got with CMFTR, Punk got hurt, and that's when, the chain of events started happening where he had to go off of TV because of his injured foot. This time we get CMFTR, and we get the continuation of the Bullet Club Gold storyline, which it was being reported that CM Punk was very interested in working with Jay White. But also, as a CM Punk fan, you put CM Punk and Samoa Joe back in a ring together. Let's fucking go. One of the best rivalries Punk has ever had in the history of his career. Him and Samoa Joe. Their classic time limit draws that they had at Ring of Honor. And now I get to see those two in a ring together again. I've said this on Twitter. I've said this on social media. Because I saw the crowd reaction when he was first announced last week. I saw the crowd reaction. I heard the boos. And, that's fine. Like I said, I've always understood why people don't like him. But I do not care. This is all I've ever wanted. This is for me. This is for me and Floyd. CMFTR is going to be wrestling. This is for me. I do not care if this bothers you. I do not care if you do not like this. You can feel free not to. You have your own life. You have your own mindset. You have your own opinion about CM Punk. I'm not asking you to change your beliefs. I'm not asking you to change the way you think about wrestling. I'm not asking that. What I'm asking you is to kindly shut up and let me enjoy the wrestling. Let me enjoy the best in the world. Let me enjoy CM Punk back in AEW, teaming with one of the best tag teams, if not the best tag team in wrestling today. Let me enjoy this. Because this is for me. This is for me. Floyd, we got it. We got what we want. CMFTR.
Yes, so this means Collision was clearly made for the Revival. And if you take those letters, what do you get? CMFTR. Come on, baby. Let's go. This is, yeah. I was on the fence. I'm putting a lot into going to All In. I'm putting a lot of my resources, all my time into going to All In. And I was like, yeah, I got to skip some shows. Forbidden Door I didn't make all the effort to go that because I couldn't go, passport situations. And I was going I'm going on the 21st to Chicago to hang with Tyler for his birthday. So I was like, they announced Punk for the 17th, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to go. I even talked to Tyler. I was like, dude, come on. Can we move the 21st to the 17th? He was like, he has to work. I mean, he's adult, and got to work. So that was like crazy. And I was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to miss the 17th. And I was like, even speculating that it was going to be FTR versus Juice and Switchblade. That's what I thought it was going to be, FTR versus Juice and Switchblade for the tag belts. Because I assumed CM Punk wasn't going to wrestle, right? And I still was like, I want to go. And they did CMFTR. And I messaged my wife. I was like, that show I said I might not go to? I'm going to it. And I put out a few messages. And she was like, and then she got up this morning, what show are you talking about? I was like, you remember Collision on the 17th? She was like, yeah. She's like, what did they announce? And I was like, CMFTR. And she's like, oh, so you're going. It was like, oh, she was like, no doubt, because I've been putting those letters together since Punk left. That, like, I can't care about anything else. I mean, I don't pick a side in this battle. I mean, I really do. It's jokingly pick a side. I love the Elite. I love CMFTR. I love both sides of this war, quote unquote. So when you tell me that three of my favorite wrestlers are going to be at in the main event of the first show ever, and I have been talk about fortunate. I've been fortunate enough to go to the first AEW show. Period. I was at the first Dynamite, which guess what that means? I was at the first Dark. I was all pretty much, and I was at the second Rampage, and now I get the ability to be at the first Collision with CM Punk in the first time CMFTR are main eventing as a tag team. So this is crazy. This is like they're main eventing on the show that was, from what I understand, kind of made for them. And they're going to be featured in Punk's hometown of Chicago. I can't care. Like, in this case, I can't care what everybody thinks. I can't care if you like CM Punk. I can't. I can't care if you like FTR. And it's so funny how much FTR hate has been made just because they're associated with CM Punk, right?
Mm-hmm.
They haven't really even come out on anything and ever saying they agree with CM Punk. They have never said that. They've never said, hey, I agree with the Young Bucks. But somehow, it's FTR and CM Punk, which is fine because they like each other. Mm-hmm. And I'm really looking forward to the show. I put out my Twitter post. You listen to this, you can check out my Twitter or whatever. You'll see my my little socials on there. If you want to bless me on my birthday, go ahead and do that. I don't care. It could be $1. I don't care. $1 is $1 more than I had. And if you can't do anything, I completely understand. Just hope for me. Because of all the wrestling stuff I do, I understand this is a problem I have made. I am not asking you like anybody. I'm not saying woe is me. I make really good money, but I also make terrible decisions. And I don't ever say no to literally anything. I see it and I want it, I get it. So I don't say no. So occasionally, if someone wants to throw me a little help, I appreciate it. Understand that. But I'm not like saying I'm over here eating rice and beans. Your boy eats good. Your boy has a good life. So it's just, hey, if you can take some of the stress off me by donating, I would greatly appreciate that as I make this trip, unscheduled trip to Chicago. Because if you know this about me and Austin, we bought the tickets to the 21st, assuming that was the show CM Punk was going to be on. So it wasn't like we didn't plan on being at the CM Punk show. This was always the plan. It's just the plan has gotten adjusted. So I'm excited. I've heard the boos. Cool. Boo, cheer, whatever. Hate, love, it's all the same. Yes, I am saying a CM Punk line to defend CM Punk. It's all the same. Do what you want to do. But you understand, Punk is coming. FTR is coming with him. And people are going to bleed. That's what's going to happen. And it's funny because, the three people that are wrestling, if, so they're like a second tier of favorite wrestlers, right? Jay White and Samoa Joe would be in that second tier. I love the way Jay White wrestles. I love Samoa Joe's promo and his wrestling style. Not a biggest fan of Juice Robinson. He's kind of, to me, there. I've never really, imprinted or loved on him. It's just, he's there. I understand he's a really good wrestler. He's a big old dude. If you, when you talk about TV not showing you how big someone is, Juice Robinson is very much in that. It's like, you see Juice on TV and he kind of looks like, oh yeah. Then you see him in real life and you're like, yeah, I'm not going to mess with that dude. He's a pretty big old boy.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So you got a 3-on-3, a nice feature, and I'm really looking forward to being there for it. And fortunately, I gotta shout out somebody else because I've been throwing a lot of shout outs, and it's my birthday week, so I am going to throw a few more shout outs now. Look, but my guy Jeremy and me were at the first dance together. He actually bought us upgraded seats, and the reason we were in the spot that we were in when CM Punk jumped into the crowd is because of Jeremy. Unexpected upgrade. Well, Jeremy, unfortunately, the biggest CM Punk fan I know, not even close, has the CM Punk tattoos on his hands. I don't think this man will mind me saying he literally cried when CM Punk came out. This dude was in it, right? Mm-hmm. And so he can't make it to this show, unfortunately. Life happens. But because of that, I got a 4th row seat to it. And I would, again, so this, for the second time in Chicago, in the United Center, Jeremy has provided my ticket to the show.
Unreal.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy.
Yeah. That's unbelievable, dude.
Yeah. So,
yeah, that's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, that's what I talk about wrestling, family, dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's definitely included in that because, like I said, it's just, dude, I started looking at tickets last night and I saw some good ones, but and I have made it my mission I've started sitting farther away to save money. I've discussed that before.
Sure.
And it was like, but Punk's coming. It's gonna be on the floor. I need to be on the floor, right? And he's like, oh, I got a 4th row seat for you. I'm like, I guess it's meant to be.
I guess so, man. Like I'm, because I officially am, as of right now, I am not going to either show, the Dynamite at the Wintrust Arena or Collision in Chicago. I so bad. I don't know if it's going to be humanly possible for me to find tickets in time. And at the same time, like I said, I'm still trying to get Collision. I mean, I'm still trying to get Forbidden Door tickets. That for sure is like, I have to be there. After the announcements, Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, after the announcements of Bryan Danielson and Kazuchika Okada, after the reports and the rumors that we could very well be getting finally CM Punk versus Kenta, GTS versus GTS, like, I need to be at that Forbidden Door show.
So
I want to be at both. I don't know if it's going to be possible.
I will throw this out there. I have a certain number I need. I'm not going to say what the number it is. Certain number I need to make Chicago happen, which is actually way lower than probably anybody would think. I'm really good at traveling at a discount. Whatever I get more than that is going to Austin, going to Forbidden Door. That simple.
Appreciate you, dog. I really do. I really, really do. But yes, y'all, it's the best timeline. We're in the best timeline right now.
I can't tell you,
CM Punk.
Like 2017 for me was an incredible year to be a wrestling fan. I believe that's when Dominion happened with Kenny Omega and Kazuchika.
I'm pretty sure, dude. I'm pretty sure, yeah.
No, it was. I don't remember, but like that 2017 where I was just discovering like New Japan and really getting into the Young Bucks, and NXT was really hot, and WWE actually was. It wasn't great, but it was actually really good at the time. It was a very good time for me to be a wrestling fan, and I honestly can say, man.
The first one between 2017, I believe, was the one where we got the one at Wrestle Kingdom 11.
Okay, so I guess it's 2018.
2018 was when we had the Dominion match,
and that was All In too, right?
Yeah, that was Ford, that was All In weekend too.
Yeah. So 2018 is the year I'm talking about. Yes. I had like one of the best wrestling years of my life. Like seriously, the amount of wrestling I saw in that year, that probably would have been number one. But good Lord, 2023 is bringing it. 2023 is bringing it. I mean, and it is great because it happens to be the people that I appreciate and love as a wrestler. The same people I was loving in 2018 are now featured now in 2023. It's like FTR is the featured tag team in a major company, right? CM Punk, who I thought wasn't going to ever wrestle again, is that. You got Kenny Omega. You got Cody being featured in the WWE. For me personally, as in my wrestling taste, like all of my favorites are being featured right now. So that's kind of a cool time to be, like a wrestling fan.
Absolutely, dude. I'm so stoked about it for real. So like I said, hopefully I'll be able to make at least one of those shows. But regardless of the fact, I get my favorite wrestler back on television, and I get him teaming with one of my favorite tag teams ever, FTR. CMFTR is back, and I will say this lastly to close things out on this before we get into the Dynamite review. Like Floyd said, dude, you can call me taking sides or whatnot, though. I don't care about these people's beef. I don't care anymore. So many people do, and so many people care about these people that they don't know and that they are not friends with, or they don't have actual legitimate personal relationships with. So many people care about their beef. Their like legitimate beef. I don't. All I care about is how this leads to them getting in a ring. That is all I care about, because that's the only one that affects. The only thing that affects me is if they get in a ring and wrestle for my entertainment. That is the only thing I care about. Whatever problems they got with each other, sort it out yourselves. I don't care. Because I want to see CM Punk wrestle. That's all I want.
Dude,
I don't care anymore about anything else. Yep. So if you do, your priorities are in the absolute wrong place because this does not affect you. The only thing that it affects is if we see these people wrestle on television. And if we don't, then sure, I'll have a problem with it because I'll be like, come on, guys, let's get this shit squashed or just get over it so we can see this match happen and get this feud rolling. Otherwise, shove it. I don't care. Just get in the ring and fake fight. That's all I care now. If you still care about their beef, your priorities are in the wrong place.
Dude, yeah, I mean, this is a form of entertainment, and I just want to be entertained. And like I said, if you care about the other stuff, I will say, that's your business. You know what? That's your business. You can like or dislike people for whatever reason you want to. I literally show up to watch wrestling. That's what I do. I show up to watch wrestling. And unfortunately, the 6 people that apparently, without me saying it, have beef with each other or whatever, happen to be the six of the best in the world at what they do. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm not going to choose that there's half of wrestling I'm not going to watch based on an argument that has no effect on me. I'm going to watch both shows. Like, I'm going to watch it and I'm going to be entertained both times. I'm going to watch Kenny Omega in his war against Konosuke Takeshita, one of my new favorites. I'm going to watch the Young Bucks do their thing. I'm going to watch FTR fight Bullet Club Gold. I'm going to watch wrestling because I enjoy wrestling. And I think people forget, at the core, that's what we're supposed to be doing, is just enjoying wrestling. I am not a just watch the show person. I believe in passion, and I believe in being a fanatic. I understand I've gotten many arguments how the word fan actually means something, that you are a fanatic. It means something. Many arguments about it. So yes, I do, care about how they pick their music and who inspired them to become a wrestler and who likes who and who loves that. I love all that shit. But it becomes a problem when you start letting it affect how you enjoy wrestling. Because if that's the case, maybe you back away from the other stuff and just watch the show. And that's me saying it for your benefit. Not for the wrestler's benefit, for anybody. For your benefit. I want you to be as happy as possible while you enjoying the product. Because I know people get caught up in that other side of it. And they say, oh, I'm so sick of it. I can't even watch the show because, I'm tired of hearing about CM Punk and their beef. I can't watch the show. Oh, my God. And I'm like, well, maybe you should back away. maybe like literally. Because you can't change whether people have a problem with each other, but you can change how much of it you consume. Again, your only commodity in entertainment is your money and your time. If something that you're giving your time to is causing you that much stress and anxiety where it's making you not enjoy it, maybe back away for a little bit. That's all I'm saying. It's just little a little advice from your super happy Uncle Floyd.
Yeah, that is pretty much it, honestly. So, yeah, I really don't got much else I got to say on that matter. But let's get into AEW Dynamite taking place from Colorado Springs, Colorado. Big show. We opened up with an AEW International Championship match, freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy versus Swerve Strickland. The near falls, the near falls, the near falls. My goodness, these guys threw everything at each other, and they just, so many near falls. Got the crowd in a tizzy from Jump Street. Fight Forever chants already being heard from this first match. They did great. Like I said, Swerve Strickland, outstanding wrestler. Orange Cassidy continuing just to show the welts that these international championship matches have been putting on his body. still able to survive, but we're just waiting for that one where it's like, he's not going to be able to survive them all for long. And we know one of these guys are going to just knock him off, and because he's got too much miles on him right now. Dude needs to take a break and hold on to that title, take a little bit of MJF logic, and protect himself a little bit. It's okay to have a couple months in between matches. Like, boxers do it, UFC fighters do it, OC, you might want to take a breather, or else that title ain't going to be around your waist for quite some time. But this match was unreal. The bump that Orange Cassidy took on the apron from the Death Valley driver was rough. The DDT that he did jumping off the apron onto the floor, onto Swerve Strickland, was wild. Outstanding match. Orange Cassidy, even though Swerve kicked out of a beach break and an orange punch, was able to roll him up and get him as he also tried to go after the tights as well, while his hand was still in pain. He still gets the victory. The Mogul Embassy would then proceed to come down and beat up Orange Cassidy. The crowd and the arena goes black, and then the lights come on. The ring is empty, and it's Sting and Darby Allin who have chased off the Mogul Embassy. So continuing to have OC's back in that regard is awesome. Really, really great opening to Dynamite. Just some great work.
Hot take. I got a hot take. Spicy hot take. Right now, June 8th, 2023. I guess it'll at least go to June 14th, 2023. Orange Cassidy versus Swerve was my Dynamite match of the year so far.
Wow. I mean, dude, it was outstanding. Like I said, I understand why that would be the case. Yeah, it was.
Dude,
it was so freaking good.
They legit had me 3 times in the match.
Yeah, I was stunned how many near falls they got me with.
Yeah, like legit had me. When he kicked him in the head and then hit the double stomp, I was like, oh, Swerve's the new champ. Boom, he kicks out. I'm like, what the? Oh, my God. And I'm very much of the opinion that Swerve should have won this match. But, I'm not going to argue. This match, this match is, my Dynamite match of the year so far. It is. And I don't think it's relatively close. Like, I've seen some great matches on Dynamite this year. Don't get me wrong. But, man, this is the match where it was like, I watched the show. We were talking to JR, and he went to bed. And I fired it up again. And that's how good that match was. And it wasn't like, oh, I don't remember what happened. It was like, I just want to watch it again. And I don't do that a lot. I don't do that a lot. But, yeah, OC versus Swerve, my Dynamite match of the year, very clearly to me. And put me in a building anytime those two are wrestling. Swerve is like, he's one of those people that I just think he has everything. Right. He has the villain look, the mic, the presence, all that stuff. And then Orange Cassidy, man, he proved it to me. Like, he has proved to me he could wrestle in the past, right? But the match last year against Will Ospreay around the same time of the year at the Forbidden Door, to me was like, done. This man's an amazing wrestler. This is not a gimmick anymore. He works his character into the match, but when push comes to shove, this man can wrestle on another level. And last night was just a straight wrestling match where he was selling that he was tired and injured and that he would do anything to keep the belt. And in the end, Orange Cassidy, the ultimate good guy, the thumbs up guy, I don't care about anything, cared so much about winning the title. He cheated to beat Swerve. Now, was he just, retaliating from the earlier cheating? Absolutely. But he cheated to beat Swerve, and it was like, that was such a big moment, such a storytelling moment, and it's like, if it didn't hit you how big of a moment it is. This dude's been in Best Friends. He's been like the white meatiest, white meat baby face of them all. That dude wrestles, and he is keeping the title, he is becoming more and more desperate, more and more willing to do anything to keep the championship. He has found something that he absolutely cares about more than anything else.
Yeah, seems that way. And I'm super excited about it. Bryan Danielson came down to the broadcast booth, mentioned the Okada match that was confirmed, and then we had the trios match between the Blackpool Combat Club and Chaos. Trent Beretta, Chuck Taylor, Best Friends, and Rocky Romero facing off against Claudio, Wheeler Yuta, and Jon Moxley. Really, really good stuff. I love how much good stuff Best Friends and Roppongi Vice and all the stuff they were able to get in. I knew they weren't going to win this match. BCC is way too hot. But I got to say, dude, I just love seeing Trent and Chuck in that spot, dude. Because, like, out of the AEW OGs, like, and stuff like that, I love seeing the Best Friends be able to do stuff because I love those guys.
I know there's a way to look it up, but they've gotten beat up by the Blackpool Combat Club a lot. And just one of these weeks, maybe it's a while from now, I would like to see them come out on top. Not necessarily win the match, but maybe leave the Blackpool Combat Club laying once. Like when they aggressively
or like chase them away or something like that. Yeah.
Like when they aggressively jumped them at the beginning, I was like, oh my God, thank you for telling a different story. Thank you for doing this differently, other than the BCC just beating the shit out of them. But
thankfully they were able to get their stuff in this match, which I appreciated.
I really enjoyed this
not
match.
To say they didn't get killed, like the freaking unbelievable freaking uppercut that was given by Claudio to I believe it was Trent. Trent got rocked by that uppercut when he dove to the outside towards Claudio. I thought that man was dead. I was like, oh my God, you poor bastard. But like I said, they gave him a lot more fight. I appreciate it. I like Best Friends a lot, and I like seeing them do stuff. I was saying back in 2020 that they should be tag team champions sometime down the road because I think they are so freaking good. Like every other member of Best Friends has won a title. Orange Cassidy and now Chris Statlander. Get Chuck and Trent some gold around their waist sometime soon, please. Like I like them so much.
I have been very open about not liking how FTR has been booked as far as this first half of the year. They're the tag champs. Don't get me wrong. They have the belts, but there's when you have the belts, there's a way to get booked when you're being really heavily featured, and then there's a way that you're just the champs. And I'm itching for FTR Best Friends rivalry. With a heel FTR dude, it would be amazing. Yes, and honestly, I can see it kind of like the Briscoes. I can see the Best Friends not having to be heels. You know what I mean? Just having because they're so good. Chucky T is like one of those people. He doesn't look it. You see him looking down the street. He looks like a regular guy, but then he gets in the ring, and it's like the dude can go. So I just think they can put on like a good series of matches if they wanted to. And it's just like there are people, and I'm hoping this happens with Collision, that there are good tag teams and good groups that aren't, really featured, and I want them. I'm hoping FTR being there helps them get helps FTR and there being the new show helps more teams and more people get featured.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now after the match though, Hangman and the Young Bucks appeared on screen and challenged them to a match at Washington D.C. at next week's Dynamite, where Dynamite all began. Said, can you do it without Bryan? Can you do it without Takeshita? The choice is yours. So the Hung Bucks making the challenge out towards the BCC.
And this actually made me very happy. Again, I was in Washington, D.C. for the first show, so I'm glad that they're getting back. But, you got the Elite. The Hung Bucks, I know they have their own name, and Blackpool Combat Club. It's like you can put any combination of these 3 and 4, and 2, whatever you want to do, and they're going to put on a great match. Wheeler Yuta, like last year, was like he showed he's as good as whoever's across the ring from him, right? So it used to be like this clear down slide, but he has taken this big step up. So I'm really looking forward to it. I like that the Bucks and Hangman were angry, and I love that they're sticking with Brandon Cutler as the person that records their interviews. all that stuff is just all like, this is all like first year AEW stuff being combined with kind of the new AEW stuff, and it's good. Now, I can say this. I would like to see Wheeler Yuta in a singles match against Nick or Matt Jackson. I think it'd be a banger. I'd like to see more of these four, like the not Kenny and the Mox. Of course, you save Kenny and Mox, but like maybe Claudio versus Hangman. Like more of these matches through the summer. But again, we got a long summer, so more than likely we're going to get them. But I just want to see those.
Yeah, no, I want to see those too, for sure. We then had my moment of the night. MJF comes out and talks about how he's contractually obligated to show up to Colorado, and he said he nearly offed himself when he got that news. And he said, look, no competition. I'm bored. And if there's anybody who knows about being bored, it's me, because I'm in a boring place like Colorado, and I'm bored because there's no competition in AEW. And then Adam Cole's music hits. And then we got one of my favorite things in AEW, which is just one-on-one promo battles between MJF and whoever. It's always entertaining when I get to see MJF go one-on-one,
dude,
in a promo battle with somebody, and you put him up against Adam Cole.
Yes, and he did basically. Now, okay, there was one thing I thought was missing as I critique MJF, who was taking all the shots at Adam Cole that he could. At the beginning of this, before he started going off on this thing, and maybe he said it and I don't remember it. I didn't watch that part back, but I'm like, man, it's time for story time with MJF, baby. That would have made me laugh.
That would have been funny. Yes, he did not say that. It would have been funny, but
because he picked at every part of his career, like stuff I kind of forgot about. He didn't pick that. I'm just like,
it would have been great, especially since Adam didn't say it. It would have been awesome if they're like, "Ooh, we're ready for story time with MJF, baby." Yeah, would have been great. But it's fine that we didn't get that though, because he cut them off for the Adam Cole baby.
Correct.
That was huge heat.
That's huge heat. This man understands heat on such a level that I've heard someone say MJF is not a heel because people love him, right? It's funny. It's because it's like, if you've ever seen a villain in a movie that is just so good, I'm talking Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight, right? That's so good, right? That, in wrestling, it's performance art. And MJF is so good at this art that it kind of makes you hard to hate him, right? The thing that he would have to do to hate him would make you literally like hate him and want him never to be on your screen again. It's like, and when you're playing a bad guy, I'll use that term, in 2023, you have to be careful not to go too far, right? That's why I think Jeff Jarrett's so good. Like, that dude gets monster heat, and he never goes too far, right? He never has to talk about your dead dad. Jeff Jarrett is just heat from the moment he walks out of the building, right? So MJF is like, dude, this promo is perfect heel promo. He said everything bad and dastardly that you were supposed to say, but the thing he said the most, the moment I took away from it, and I'm going to let you go through this thing, when he uses the promo that everyone said buried Karrion Kross.
Yup.
He used the exact same words to put down Adam Cole. As a person that I was watching the Adam Cole do that to Karrion Kross, I don't know if it was live because that might have been still Wednesdays at that point, but I remember watching it and like, dude, I can't believe they let him say that promo. They are gonna bury him on TV, right? And he uses those same words to try to drop Adam Cole. Adam Cole is so good at this, he was able to come back. So I'm gonna let you take it from here, but I had to throw out that one part because I just thought it was such a masterclass in heel work.
Dude, he said like this company, people say that what's happening with Adam Cole is not his fault. this company is not showcasing him right. And he said, you don't have a goddamn clue what you're talking about. This company has done everything in its power to make you cool. Cool music, cool entrance. You got the girl, you got everything. You know what they do to make MJF cool? They ring the freaking bell. It was great. It was amazing. He went through, he mentioned CM Punk being like, when he left me as a kid, I thought my fandom was over, but I flipped some channels and saw Ring of Honor. And I'm like, look, Ring of Honor sucked. I was about to change the channel. And then in walks Adam Cole, and I was genuinely hooked. You went to Florida, you shocked the system, and you were the greatest champion in that company. That is undisputed. And he said, yeah, the crowd was calling him a mark. And he's like, yeah, I was a mark for Adam Cole. He was that good. He said, I went to CZW, won gold. I became one of the biggest free agents in wrestling. And I knew when you made the jump, we'd have the rivalry of the lifetime, MJF versus Adam Cole. He's like, what happened to you, man? You used to be the Panama Playboy. Now you're the Panama Game Boy. Such a fucking good line. I had to mention that too. Said, Britt Baker keeps leaving the house with your balls in your purse. You used to have the physique of a world champion, but now you're so frail you make crack whores jealous. And then he's like, look, I know there's a certain guy in Titan Towers named Vince McMahon said Adam Cole's not a top guy. And he's like, how could he not see that? And I'm like, you know what? I'm standing in the ring right now, and I think Vince was right. Easiest way for you to become heel in AEW. Agree with Vince McMahon. And Adam Cole's response was, you're acting more so like instead of the great MJF, you just come across as a toxic social media troll. And then also mentions like, dude, you're a world-class douchebag. I understand why your fiance left you. So there you go. Drop that bomb on him again. It's like, oh, yes, we have to talk about my body. I haven't heard that one before. But it's like, you know what? We want to go down that roll. How about we both go backstage, pee in a couple cups, and see who's natural and who's not? Oh, wait, you don't want to do that. I was like completely caught off guard when he did that. I was like, wow. And he's like, look, no one respects you. There's not a single person in the back that respects you. And I've traveled the globe and shared locker rooms, and those guys and girls respect me. And he's like, oh, no, I'll go cry in all my money about how no one respects me. And MJF says, a lot of tough talk coming from Keith Lee's manager, tying into what Vince saw Adam Cole as, Keith Lee's manager. And he's like, there it is. You're a false narrative because you're afraid to fight me. If you wanted to fight me, you would just say, like, what are you going to do about it? It's like, you're a coward. And look, you won't fight me because I'm better than you, and they know it. And MJF was like, I will wrestle you any day of the week and beat your ass. And he's like, attaboy, champ. We got ourselves a match. And Adam Cole leaves. Just such a fucking good promo. Such a great segment. Like, this was on the, like, I compare it to how good the Thanksgiving episode of Dynamite was when MJF and CM Punk went head-to-head on the mic. It was that level of good, honest to God. They did such great work. MJF healing it up like crazy. Adam Cole, just so good at what he does. He's just so good. Like, he has become such a favorite of mine. Like, he was one of my favorites in NXT. And then when he came into AEW, I knew he was like, I loved him so much. But I was waiting like for the feud that really made him like just jump into people's minds being like, yeah, that is a champion, a world champion, a top guy. And I know that Adam Cole is going to do amazing stuff in this feud. Like, he's literally one of my favorites right now. And it's pretty damn amazing seeing Adam Cole in this situation. And I'm so hyped for this feud, dude. I can't even stand it. It's going to be amazing.
I hoped with my whole heart that this was the June 21st match. I really did. I was like, maybe they build out. I mean, MJF doesn't wrestle a lot. So I was like, maybe they save MJF and Adam Cole for Chicago. Maybe, just maybe they save it for Chicago because my boy Tyler is one of the biggest Adam Cole fans on this earth. Mm-hmm. And and that's like that trip, that's his birthday present. Us going on that trip is his birthday present. So it would have been like a home run, slam dunk. touchdown, all the different sports phrases you want to use for him to be able to see his favorite wrestler main event the show on the show that we're going to. But alas, they announced it for another time. But this promo, next level Adam Cole. This is NXT Adam Cole. I mean, yes. I know he's not a bad guy, but this is NXT Adam Cole. This is the guy that when MJF won the title, and of course what we do as soon as someone wins the title, we speculate who's going to beat for him. And I've only had one guess from the very beginning. It's Adam Cole, baby. So that's the thought. I was like, the way the comeback was being shot, the way they were featuring him on the TV, that he was next. Now I want to say something. When people think AEW doesn't think long term, doesn't think storytelling, there were two major people really spotlighted on the reality show. The two major couples, Sammy Guevara and Ty, Adam Cole and Britt, right?
Yeah.
Who were MJF's first two challengers? Really, like, who was the next two challengers like after the show when that show was going off? Sammy got his match at Double or Nothing, the pregnancy announcement. I'm not saying they planned that, but that ended up just being fortunate. And now he goes right into Adam Cole, who just had a show that probably introduced some people that weren't really familiar with Adam Cole and built him a solid fan base. And now I'm talking about beyond, us nerdy wrestling fans, but people that would just tune in and they got to know Adam Cole more. Now they love Adam Cole. Now they're rooting for Adam Cole. And guess who's the next challenger after Sammy gets his shot? Adam Cole. Don't pretend like AEW is not paying attention.
Oh yeah.
Just don't pretend like they're not paying attention, because it's just lined up perfectly. While the show was in its episodes and they were talking about Sammy a lot, Sammy was building into the 4 pillars, and they were talking about Adam Cole making his comeback. Now, right after the Sammy match is over, it's Adam Cole. Let's go. Adam Cole had just had his feud with Jericho, and Jericho seems to be that guy right now. He's the guy before the guy. You wrestle Jericho, and then you move on to MJF, or you move on to the next thing. Unfortunately, Ricky Starks did kind of work backwards from that. He had his match with MJF, then he worked with Jericho. But, it seems to be Jericho's the guy before the guy. And Adam Cole did his thing with Jericho. Now he's about to do his thing with MJF. And, it's going to be they're going to put some amazing matches on, and I'm looking forward to it.
No question about it. Quick backstage segment where Matt Hardy introduced his new employee, Ethan Page, and him and Jeff were being like, look, we see potential. We think you can put your ego aside and become a better man. And Brother Zay would moan in his ear. And so, continuing this feud, trying to make Ethan Page a babyface. Don't like this. Don't like this, personally. I think this whole contract thing that we've been doing with the Hardys and Ethan Page has been tiresome. And if you're honest to God trying to take a guy like Ethan Page, who is just so naturally good at being a heel, and you're trying to make him likable, I don't want to see that. I just don't.
Tell me you have no plans with someone without telling me you have no plans for this someone.
Seriously.
That's what this whole thing has felt like to me. We have no plans, but we can do this until this. But they haven't got to the what we're waiting on until yet. And it's just I love Ethan Page. I have an unrelenting love for Ethan Page, and I think he is miscast in this role. And I think there's a Golden Hill group, BC Gold, that he seemed to go a little bit better with than what's going on right now.
Yeah. Moving on, though, Texas Tornado tag match between Jungle Boy Jack Perry and the FTW champion Hook versus La Facción Ingobernables. I said that so wrong. Preston Vance and Dralistico. These guys immediately started beating the hell out of each other into the crowd. Hook just beating up on Preston Vance in the stands. And Preston got busted open, as there was a point where Hook took a chain and put it around his hand and then just knocked him in the face, and tons of blood coming out of Preston Vance's skull. And eventually, though, Drilistico was able to get some good stuff trying to go after Hook, but eventually Vance was able to try to get the chain around Hook's neck, and then Jose, the assistant, comes up, and then that's when Jungle Boy Jack Perry comes up, and he gets rid of Jose, the assistant, and puts the snare trap on Drilistico while the red rum is put on Jose, and Drilistico taps out because of Jack Perry. Decent bounce back match for Jungle Boy, giving him something to kind of do at least after his big loss at Double or Nothing. And it's just kind of a thing to kind of pad some time until we see like what is next for Jungle Boy. I will ask this of you, Floyd. What do you think should be next for Jungle Boy right now?
Jungle Hook. I think that should be next.
You think Jungle Hook is legit what they should go with from this point onward?
Yeah, and I think they should win. And then I think at some point, I don't know if it'll be a full-on feud, but at least a match with FTR and see what we go from there if the excitement builds up. I mean, honestly, Jungle Hook is what like 80s, early 90s tag teams were built on. Two very young, good-looking guys. And, they both don't talk. So they have that in common. So that actually works. They both have that unspoken kind of charisma. I would like to see them have some sort of manager because, at some point someone needs to speak. And they're both, right. I mean, I don't know if even Hook's good at it. He doesn't say anything. I don't know if Hook's a good promo or not because he doesn't say words. I mean, he might end up talking and be basically like the second coming of his dad and just make every hair on my skin rise. I don't know what he can do at this point. But I know Jungle Boy bores me the tears on the mic, so I'd rather him not talk. But again, I will say this about Jungle Boy until I'm blue in the face. When he's in between those ropes, I never question him. Mm-hmm. Ever. So if you want to give me a young, up-and-coming, good-looking tag team like Jungle Hook versus FTR, Jungle Hook versus, maybe Roosh and the long forgotten Andrade come out and they battle with them for a while.
That would be solid.
Like a second, almost like a second tier feud as they get ready for whoever the champions are. You can do whatever you want to do, but I think right now Jungle Hook is a great way for them to go for right now.
Yeah. All right. I was just curious about what you thought because I know we're just kind of in the waiting period of what is next for Jungle Boy. We then had Konosuke Takeshita come out, beat up on Damon Ace, but more so continues the mega blood heat of Don Callis. We weren't able to talk about it last week, but oh my God, the way this man gets heat is just outstanding. The way that they, on this match too, continued to show the turn from Double or Nothing of Takeshita on Kenny Omega, and they just kept it playing during the match with Damon Ace. I love that. Don Callis couldn't get a word in. I said before when we were in Detroit, Christian had amazing heat. I couldn't hear a word he was saying in the arena. Now, when I was watching it back on TV, I could hear it, but when I was in the arena, I couldn't hear what Christian was saying for most of the time because the crowd was so loud. On TV, I can barely hear what Don Callis is saying because the heat is that loud that it translates even harder through television. It's ridiculous. So Takeshita tells the crowd to shut up in Japanese. And then Don Callis was like, this time I will be heard. I'm not going to get shut up by you people. I will be heard. And he's like, you may not like it, but I'm telling you the truth about Kenny Omega. But everything he has in his life is because of me. This is Kenny's fault. Everything the Elite has is because of me. Kenny beat Will Ospreay because of me. He's been a cancer in my body. And what do you do with cancer? You cut it out. And me and my family are going to cut the Elite out of this company for good. The heat is just astronomical for Don Callis and Konosuke Takeshita. It's quite amazing just like how unbelievable this is going to be when eventually we get this going after the Elite. And then I just want to see Kota Ibushi come and see his golden lover yet again and chase off Konosuke.
Make sure you check out Takeshita's new shirt on Shop AEW.
Oh, it's dope.
It will be one that I'll be purchasing because, he got his shout out to Cinnabon on it, which is the greatest. But no, this is nuclear. Like, next level. We hate you, Don, but we hate you even more because we love Kenny so much. Heat. And understand, as much as Don deserves this heat and he is really good at it, this is coming from a tremendous love for Kenny Omega. I just think that was I think it was just very evident, so loud, and it's like, man, the crowd was so loud, and I loved it. I completely love this segment. I love Heel Takeshita. I love him speaking at, like, it's like, I can say this, I've never had a problem with the whole Japanese thing or anything like that, but him yelling at you in a language you don't understand just breathes, just screams heat. That's heat. I'm yelling at you in this language you don't understand. He could be saying, man, have a very nice day. I know there's Japanese translating people out there that actually tell you what you say. You can go find it on Twitter if you want. But the fact that he's just yelling at you angry in a different language, heat. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Then Christian Cage was getting like the worst kind of call you could get, a door knock from Alex Marvez, and comes out of Christian Cage's locker room, and Christian says, look, Arn Anderson screwed me and took away my TNT title chance. So for me to take something, it was time for me to take something from you. And hey, your son Brock got you a very nice early Father's Day present. The door opens and Luchasaurus comes out, and Brock Anderson had been beaten up by Luchasaurus. Marvez then calls for medical assistance. So I cannot wait to see what Arn Anderson's response is to this. And I love the way that they've gone after this blood feud. And also, Brock exists. He had been gone for so long, but he does still exist. So for those of you who are worried that he had disappeared or something, there's Brock. Brock Anderson is back.
Yes.
And bloodied on the ground.
Yes, Brock Anderson. Beaten up and bloody on the ground. It's kind of awesome. And I love it. Christian's going at him. I love that Christian's going at him. He's like, he can't go straight at Wardlow. Wardlow's too big, too strong, too athletic. Too big, too strong, but he has to play the mental game. And now he's going at him through Arn. So that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. We then got the TBS Championship Open Challenge match between Chris Statlander and Anna JAS. It was a good match, I will say. I love the fact that Chris Statlander, she did it last week, but they were able to actually keep it on camera for the whole time, how she uses sign language to say new TBS champion. That is amazing. My sister actually learned sign language, so seeing Chris Statlander do that was awesome. Daddy Magic getting involved was super entertaining. But Anna JS got the Queenslayer on, but regardless, Statlander got up and was able to get her in a tombstone pile driver and pin her that way. And there was also points where they cut backstage. Taya Valkyrie was upset, clearly because, like Floyd said, she just jumped the line and immediately got a TBS championship match. Very reasonable reason for her to be upset. So look, there's the reasoning. They're going to turn Taya heel, and then we're going to get Chris Statlander versus Taya Valkyrie. And there's a reason now, the story reason why she jumped the line and she won the title at Double or Nothing that way. We're getting a reason for it. Are you okay now?
No. Again, I don't have any problem with Chris Statlander being champion. What didn't make sense is it didn't feel like this star-making, you finally beat the unbeatable person moment. It just didn't. That's what I'm saying. That's what I've always said. I'm actually bored with the argument for me because it's never about who it was. I accepted it who it was going to be 6 months ago. It was like how they did it. To me, it was supposed to be this performance, star-making, you killed the monster moment. And I don't feel like it was that. It's like you beat up a weekend wrestler moment. Maybe that's just how I took it. Maybe it did everything it was supposed to do for everybody other than Floyd. I can live with that. I can live with that. But like I said, but no. And then Taya coming in, I've actually always preferred heel Taya over face Taya. So I'm going to enjoy this much more. Again, they presented her for the first time at Double or Nothing like the big deal that I'd seen her presented in. I was like, for her, it's like, I mean, I think she's fine as a wrestler, but it's always been everything else that goes with Taya. Her promos, the backstage segments, she always come over as an over the top type competitor. And like I said, we saw a little bit of that in Double or Nothing. Maybe as she leans more towards her bad guy side, we'll even get more of that in AEW. And the Ty Valkyrie that I liked in Impact, the Ty Valkyrie that I liked in NXT will shine more through.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see how it turns out. But we get into the main event, Absolute Ricky Starks versus Switchblade Jay White, with Juice Robinson and FTR banned from ringside. These guys kicked the fucking doors off the place, I will say. Really, really, really good match. The way that Ricky Starks just like really gets himself fired up after he hits that spear, and he hits it so freaking well. Yeah, this is a good main event match. Not better than the opening match, I will say. Still, that one was probably match of the night for me, I would say. But Jay White was able to try to go for the Blade Runner, but then proceeded to get a DDT, nearly got a near fall. However, Jay White got a really great job before the first spear, countering it with a good knee. And then Ricky Starks went for the Rochambeau, hits the referee. I love me a bad referee sell, and that was one of my favorites. That was a great, referee sell. Loved it. But then, when the referee goes down, the Guns come out, and they nail Ricky Starks with the 310, and then that's when Jay White hits the Blade Runner and wins the match. So the Guns come out and screw over Ricky Starks, and then Juice Robinson comes out. Fucking Juice, the way that he was celebrating with Jay White was hysterical. Made me laugh so freaking hard. But yeah, the Guns have a problem clearly with Ricky Starks, and I'm sure we'll find out about why next week.
Hey, somebody pointed out they're literally called the Guns, and the group they help is called the Bullet Club.
Yep. Quite interesting how that works out. Bullet Club Gold, I think, might be getting some new members.
Yeah, I'm just like, nothing lines up better than that. I even said I have it in my head, like, again, this speculation. The match was just announced last night, so I honestly couldn't have done anything or found out anything. But I just like have this twist of CM Punk against Samoa Joe in the group, and at the end, Joe loses and he's like shaking Punk's hand, like, "Oh yeah, I love you," and then like the Guns come out, and then they all four just jump the other four. And it's just like, man, that's how they ended the show. Because it's like, to me, with Collision, you need a big ending. You do. It can't just end with CM Punk winning. That's boring. I mean, as much as I wanted, that would be boring. You're gonna have to start something that makes Collision absolute Washington. I'm like, oh yeah, a nice little faction. The first Dynamite, if you remember, ended with who? The Inner Circle becoming a thing. Yeah. So, we can see where this goes. This is just Floyd's wrestling mind, and the wheels turning. Nothing might ever come of it. They just might put on a really dope match and call it a day. But I even said, it's like, if your ultimate goal is to try to get a bunch of people that leave their house on Saturdays to stay home and watch wrestling, you're going to need something pretty special to make that happen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm old. I don't ever go anywhere on Saturdays. The only places I go on Saturdays are to wrestling shows. So I have no problem staying home watching Collision. but unfortunately, I don't represent most of America, so they're going to have to do something special to keep everybody indoors on Saturday night. So that's just, like I said, the guns coming in, it got my wheels turning. It's like, oh, so how does that play in it? And how does this play into this? It's called being a wrestling fan. That's why I always say, when people say just to watch the show, I don't know what that means. Because speculating, moving forward, guessing, that's, all the things that you do, that's to me all a part of being like a wrestling fan. When you're an actual fanatic, you're always wondering what's coming next.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super, super excited about it. But that was AEW Dynamite live from Colorado. Looking at Rampage for this week, we got a lot to look forward to. We got Bandito and the Lucha Bros teaming up to face Big Bill, Lee Moriarty, and Ethan Page. We then have a 4-way for a number 1 contendership match for the AEW Women's World Championship. Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose versus Mercedes Martinez versus Sky Blue. We're also going to get Powerhouse Hobbs in action. And then the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn will be facing Serpentico, Luther, and Angelico. Honestly, more so than anything, I nearly forgot Angelico was on the roster still. Good to see the dude. But yeah, you got some good stuff looking forward to on Rampage, specifically that 4-way for the number 1 contendership for the women's title. Looks like it will be pretty damn good.
Angelico is one of those people. You know how, you have these people you get behind and then they don't turn out, you're like, oh man, they're going to really do something with Angelico. Early on, I was Angelico guy. I was like, man, Angelico's going to be the thing. And I liked him and Jack Evans when they were together. And I figured Angelico would eventually turn on Jack Evans and they push him a little harder. None of that seemed to work out the way I wanted to. So Angelico's, he's the guy that you have to be reminded still works there. So Luther, another one. I mean, I know
that's another one. Just the whole Chaos Project. Yes.
I know Luther's, backstage. I think all 3 of them do more backstage.
I think they are,
than they do wrestle. But yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, and it's like these matches, right? So you're watching Rampage, and again, Rampage and Collision are gonna have a lot of the same kind of comparisons, except Rampage does come out on later Friday night instead of doing primetime Friday night. But they're going to have a lot of comparisons. People go out on Fridays. They go to the movies. They go to the clubs, bars, whatever they do. Events, reunions, all that shit's thrown on Friday nights, right? So you're trying to get someone to change how their mind thinks. Well, instead of doing this, maybe I push my plans back a couple hours and watch wrestling. Yeah, that's not the match that makes me,
Right.
That match doesn't make me say, hey, you know what? Maybe I could not sleep. Like, I'm going out to dinner for my one of my birthday dinners this weekend. And I'm going out to dinner tomorrow night. Nothing on this match has made me say, maybe I should stay in and watch Rampage. Nothing on the show.
Right. Yeah. But anyways, for next week's Dynamite at Washington, D.C., side of the first ever Dynamite, we get the Hung Bucks versus BCC, Yuta, Mox, Claudio. MJF will face Adam Cole in a eliminator match. So if Adam Cole wins, he gets a future shot at the AEW World Title. Tony Storm will face the winner of whoever wins that 4-way on Rampage. And then we're also going to get the Mogul Embassy versus Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, Sting, and Keith Lee in an 8-man tag match. So you got a lot to look forward to there.
So, I mean, that's a loaded Dynamite. That's a loaded Dynamite.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is only MJF's 3rd singles match of the year. 4th of the year. We had to look up who the 4th was. Apparently, he had an eliminator with Takeshita. And that was like his 3rd match. So this is only he is 6 months in, to what is 7-8 month reign. And this is only his 4th match this year. So that's a big deal getting to see MJF, wrestle on TV or whatever. And then you got the Young Bucks and Hangman. Again, you look at those 3, they can main event any Dynamite any week. That match can main event. So you got to load it. So if you're living in the DMV, make sure you check out. Make sure you go check out Dynamite. You gotta, again, I big early in the year when I was starting the show, I definitely said stay vigilant. And honestly, you know what? Even my vigilance has kind of faded. And it's like AEW needs its fans. It's like, again, I will say this, not comparing the two, but if you're looking at it and you're just trying to want to watch, WWE's printing money no matter what, right? With their TV deals and all that stuff, WWE, they just got bought out by Endeavor. They're worth $1 trillion or whatever stupid number it is. You tune in each week, really doesn't affect the WWE.
Right.
Whether you watch AEW, whether you go to your shows, whether you buy their merch, affects them. It affects them more. So, dude, when these shows come in on Wednesday and you got time and you got the money, I'm not talking about going into debt or anything stupid like that, but if you got the time and you got the money, make sure you're going to these shows. Make sure you're cheering and supporting everybody because there's an energy. I mean, there's everything to AEW, and, it kind of lost it a little bit. But this kind of thing can be gained back. Stay vigilant.
Yeah, just stay vigilant. That's that simple. We got a couple last things that we want to say for some headlines. So, Floyd, you want to go ahead and give some news and headlines?
Yes, we got AEW Dynamite last night. Improvement numbers, 903,000 viewers, 0.33, number 4 in cable original, 18 to 49, and that was against the NBA Finals. So that's actually I think the 18 to 49 was up from last week, and that's good. I don't really generally talk about ratings, but it was a good number. So proclivity, positivity, good number. So we're gonna talk about it. Then we got 2 big matches for Forbidden Door. I had the pleasure of watching New Japan Dominion this Sunday, and Will Ospreay defeated Lance Archer to become the number 1 contender for the New Japan United States Championship. That means, and then after the match, he immediately called out the current New Japan United States Champion, which happens to be none other than Kenny Omega. So we are at Forbidden Door, where Austin hopefully will be. Now, I will do everything I can to make this happen. Where Austin will hopefully be, it will be Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. And then, after his 6-man title defense, because, yes, Okada is a 6-man champion in New Japan, which is weird. After they won their match against Shota, it was Shota, Jon Moxley, and Claudio, who literally his flight was delayed because of some kind of weather thing, and he probably got there to wrestle about 15 minutes before the match started, from what I understand. But after they said, we got a little video package, and it was Bryan Danielson, and he was challenging Kazuchika Okada, and he said, he's like, I hear they call you the Rainmaker, but I'm going to drag you out to the desert where there is no rain. We're going to see who's the best. And so it looks like we're going to get Kenny Omega Kazuchika Okada, the other KO, versus Bryan Danielson at Forbidden Door in Toronto. Also, when Kazuchika Okada answered Bryan Danielson, he literally cut the promo in English, which he never does, to basically say he was going to kick Bryan Danielson's ass. And there was a little stuff online from disingenuous people saying that there's no story. There's no story to Kazuchika Okada and Bryan Danielson. There's no story. I'm like, okay. So, I'm going to tell you, every year, one of the most popular NBA games, I'm going to use real sports, most popular NBA games of the year is the All-Star game. Literally, it's the East versus West for most of my life. They've changed it different ways to make it excitement. There's really no story. These are the best players from the East playing against the best players from the West. And it's awesome because it's best on best, right? Well, the New Japan AEW Forbidden Door, because it is a dual company show, what I would suggest is you start thinking of it as an all-star game.
But the only difference I would say too is that unlike the NBA All-Star game where they're clearly like not playing hardcore defense or actually trying to win the game for their team, this time they're trying to. These guys are trying to kick each other's head in.
Yes. So, but I'm saying what you're going to get is the best from New Japan against the best from AEW. Because of that being the story of the event, every match, no matter what, has a story. Because it's one of AEW's best, one of New Japan's best. That's the story. Anything they add is like an ancillary story, but the main story, it's company versus company. You got Kenny Omega from AEW, the best bout machine, probably the best in-ring performer in AEW. You know, you can argue with 2 or 3 other people, right? Then you got Will Ospreay, literally more 5-star matches than pretty much anybody ever, right? He's literally like the New Japan. He kind of stepped up into the Kenny Omega best bout machine after Kenny Omega left. So you got the 2 of the better in-ring performers from both companies going against each other. Added benefit, it's actually for a title. It's for the New Japan United States title. Then you have, again, one of the best performers in the world in AEW, Bryan Danielson. A lot of people believe he is the best American wrestler ever. Of the modern ages, he is the best American wrestler. This is like, experts have said this. Against Kazuchika Okada, the once in a generation. Some people may say the best Japanese wrestler in history, or definitely the best Japanese wrestler in the last 20 years, and they're wrestling each other. What other story do you need? Do you need them to tell you all of this? Because if you need them to tell you all this, you weren't ordering the pay-per-view in the first place, right? You were a non-buy because you don't know who these people are. But to anybody that watches New Japan, watches AEW, was definitely at All In because Kazuchika Okada was there. And, you know, at any of these shows, understand the history of AEW doesn't happen without Kazuchika Okada. It doesn't. You know, Bryan Danielson and what he's done is amazing. And, you know, like ROH and a lot of the independents of the 2000s don't happen without him. So these are guys that have been doing this on an elite level for a very long time. And hardcore wrestling fans, kind of casuals, know who it is. So if you're the person saying you don't know who Kazuchika Okada is, you're saying more about you than you're saying about the other people.
I gotta ask too, because it's considered, like, I consider personally like WWE Survivor Series to be their kind of all-star show. The hell is the story going in for a lot of those Raw versus SmackDown matches?
It's the Raw guy versus SmackDown guy. It's reign supremacy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the AEW New Japan show, and you're asking what the story is for an AEW versus New Japan guy.
Do you
realize how fucking stupid that sounds?
It literally hurt my head that people were making these arguments. And then people said these are disingenuous. They're just looking for a way to try to bring AEW and New Japan down. And it's like, smack me in the head and call me stupid. Obviously, that's what it is. Because I couldn't think of that any reasonably minded person would actually make the argument that these matches had no stories, when these 2 matches probably have more story than any match you're going to represent through the rest of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I even say, if you do Bishamon against FTR, everybody's like, oh, that's not a story. FTR losing streak at the beginning of this year, basically the end of the losing streak was against Bishamon at Wrestle Kingdom, where they lost the New Japan Tag Team titles. There's a story. I could keep going. There's stories everywhere. I heard a rumor that Austin's going to get one of his dream matches where he might get Kenta versus CM Punk. Come on, man. You don't need no damn stories. They're there. They're there. They're there. You just open your fucking eyes.
Mm-hmm. It's not rocket science. It's not brain surgery.
Wrestling at its core is very simple. So, like, it's
That's simple, guys. It's that simple. You know what? Fine. I will tell you the story for Bryan Danielson versus Kazuchika Okada if you can tell me what the hell was the story for Survivor Series 2021 when Roman Reigns faced Big E. What was the story? Because I sure as hell don't remember. It was Raw versus SmackDown. It was Raw champion versus SmackDown champion.
Yeah.
Top babyface champion versus top babyface champion. That was the storyline.
What else do you need?
Exactly.
Yeah. I like what
It's that simple. We'll leave it at that.
Yes, but I have to get some sleep.
As do I. So we're going to wrap this episode up, guys. Thank you so much for listening to All Things Elite. We really do appreciate it. Be sure to go on Twitter and give our boy Floyd Johnson Jr. Give him a happy birthday. He deserves it. He's amazing. He's my boy. I hope he has an amazing, amazing birthday. And like I said, hopefully I'll be able to see him in Toronto for Forbidden Door or in Chicago for Collision. One or the other. Or both. If it's somehow the gods smile upon me somehow. But mainly Forbidden Door. I need to be there for that show. But guys, make sure you are downloading this fine show on Google or Apple Podcasts, and you listen to us on Spotify or anywhere else. Give us a share where your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you wish, and also subscribe so you don't miss an episode. You leave a rating and review, helps us out a ton, and follow us on Twitter at ATElitePod. Don't forget to follow at Social Suplex, who make this show possible, and check out all the other shows they have on their network. I am at Austin Sumowitz, SZUMOWICZ. Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. And as I shut my door because my cats keep walking in and out of my room, I leave you with our good buddy and the soon-to-be birthday boy, Floyd, to take us home on this FTR CM Punk-filled episode of All Things Elite. Y'all are not ready for Collision. I promise you that. Go ahead, take it away, Floyd.
Let me tell you, I kind of did my ending at the beginning of the show, so I will just wish a happy birthday to my much younger birthday buddy, Deanna Perrazzo, whose birthday is on the 10th. I have no idea how old she turns, and I would not speculate on that because I know better. Have 8 sisters. I know better. But happy birthday to Deanna Perrazzo and all the other people that have birthdays today. The awesome people that are known as Geminis, including Mick Foley and my guy Drew McIntyre, all have birthdays this week. And again, R.I.P. to a legend, to the Hill, Mr. Iron Sheik. R.I.P. to him. Definitely fortunate enough to meet him, have a pop signed by him. I appreciate that. But just like I did at the beginning of the show, I will tell you all to tell the people in your life that you appreciate them and that you love them. With my birthday, as I get older, I turn 42 this year. I don't know how many I have of them left. I've been gotten in great shape so I can have plenty. So it is nothing a health reason they'll do. I mean, many other reasons, but it won't be a health reason. I'm going to keep working my ass off to improve that every day, but you don't know how many of you have left. Shit happens. Life happens, right? So make sure you're telling your friends and your family you love them every day as much as you can. That is life to me. In life, you can do the money, you can do the events, you can do all of the different things in life, but it's not about what you're doing or where you're doing it. It's about who you're doing it with. And it's like every event I've been to is made so much more special, is made so much more significant by the people that I've been to the event with. And I might not be able to remember every match or every card or every minute of everything that I've been to. But somehow, anytime you ask me about a show I went to, I can tell you who I was there with because that's what matters more than anything. So with that, I leave you how I always leave you. Whether it is home, work, or school, always do your best to be elite.